Welcome back to Detroit as we continue to rebuild these Pistons. We take a look at the stud, A.J. Rizzo, general manager of Detroit. If you remember the last episode, we plugged through about 2 months of the season, getting us to just after the Christmas slate of games, and we find ourselves in third place in the division behind the surprising Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks, the two-time defending champion Bucks, I might add. In the conference, we are currently sitting in the 8th spot, so squarely in the play-in. But with a good run of games here, we could find ourselves out of that play-in scenario. But again, it's super early in the season. If I come on over to the key dates, we notice that the trade deadline is February 8th, so about 6 weeks away. So we definitely want to be players at the trade deadline because if we remember back into free agency, we made a couple signings late in Robert Covington and Ricky Rubio. Covington's a $13 million expiring deal, and Rubio he's got a 2-year deal. So it's not expiring, but if that's something we could move off of and get something for him, I wouldn't hate it. He also has been complaining that he's not a big fan of the coach right now, so we can make a move on him if needed. And the way we're playing, I wouldn't hate moving off of a first-round pick, in a package deal for an expiring or someone like Rubio to make a big splash. But we're gonna play another month, probably bring us right up to like the beginning of February to see where we are at, and then assess the moves that we might make. Taking a look at the depth chart, we are locked in with this depth chart for a while now. Garza is out for a day, which is fine. But we do have our second round big man Landry Miller, the 7'2" big man out of Texas. I do want to take a look at some of his stats, mainly the miscellaneous stats where I can see some defensive numbers because that's what he's supposed to be bringing for us. His stop percentage is pretty low at 44%, but he shouldn't be facing many drives anyways. He should be contesting shots at the rim. So he's facing 6.6 shots per game, and he's only allowing 4.3 points, which is impeccable. It looks as if it's by far the lowest on our team, which is exactly what he should be doing. But I think if I go over to our advanced stats, something that I'm not quite happy with here. Let's see. Oh, right here, usage rate. 19.6 usage rate. That's the 5th highest on the team, meaning he's using up nearly 20% of the possessions on the floor by taking a shot. And I don't know if you realize, but this cat is not someone I want shooting the ball. Looking at his stats, yeah, I mean, if he's in by the rim, great. But what is this? Is there some sort of outside shooting I didn't realize he's got up in here? I mean, he's got a 1 for outside shooting. I don't know how he's hitting those shots. But clearly you can see, 0 for 9 from the free throw line extended. Around the paint, he can barely hit a shot. So I'm not sure what's happening here. But this is where we want the big man. So he's posting up 31% of the time. See, that catch and shoot. No, no, no. So we're going to make a move here and try to, coach that out of him. So let's get big Landry Miller. We want you for a month to work on posting up at the expense of catch and shoot. If I remember correctly, we got Zach LaVine working until January 23rd on catching and shooting. And the other was, where is he? Killian Hayes, drive and pass more instead of shooting off the dribble. So we'll get the big man working on that and see what we can do here. So let's take off this. I want to play about a month. So I want to get to the beginning of February. And then what we can do is we can take a look at what's happening around the league, who's underperforming, who's a buyer, who's a seller, and see where we are in the standings, and then try to make a move. So we take down the Knicks in our first game this sim with Zach LaVine leading the way at 26 points. But then we fall to Utah. Woof. Never been a fan of the Jazz my life, so that one stings. We get beat up by the Hawks on the road. Can only imagine how many points Trae Young put up. Oof, here we go. And the Heat put a beating on us. So we're one game over 500 now. But we get back in the win column with Big Stu leading the way with 27 and 16. And we do have an injury. So we made it pretty far without an injury. Pretty far. It's about 10 days. So let's see who's down. Zach LaVine out 4 days. Okay, not something you like to see, but we will make the most of it. So, store that lineup. And what we're going to do is I'm going to move Big Cade down and let him play small forward. We'll let Rubio start so I can, stop listening to him complain. And then we will continue to slide Zach LaVine down. And then what I'm just going to do is let the CPU decide who's playing where. Lance Miller is getting 14 minutes. That's pretty substantial. 22. Cunningham's playing 38 minutes. I don't want him playing that many. That's a bit aggressive. Killian Hayes is playing 20. Can't really play Rubio or Hayes at the 2. Oh, and they have Lance Flick getting 0 run. So, what we can do here, alleviate that just a little bit. Give him some shooting guard minutes. And who's bigger? Flick is 6'3". Simons is 6'3", so we'd be kind of small if we played them both at the same time. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I do want Simons playing a lot more. LaVine is down, so we do want to get him some bonus minutes here. So you know what I'll do? Swap those minutes, because I don't want him to play like a million minutes in a row. But there is a break there. Usurp that there. So 24 minutes isn't too bad, but I feel like there's got to be some more we can get him for these moments here. And I do want Sadiq Bey to take some of Cade Cunningham's minutes at small forward, because I don't want him playing 38. 34 is fine. 34-30, that should be fine. And it's only 4 days. So let's sim those 4 days so we can get Zach LaVine back into the lineup. So sim 4 days. And no surprise, we go down by 21-point loss to the Bucks without LaVine. He's our best defender, our best scorer. What are you gonna do? But we do bounce back. Ooh, 37 bomb from Cade against the Knicks. Who doesn't like beating up on the Knicks? 37 and 10 playing on the wing for Cade. Look at the aggressiveness. Good Lord, 9 to 12 from 3. Maybe that's the move. Maybe what I need to be doing is be playing Cade and LaVine on the wings to make him a bit more aggressive. But gosh, I'd love to see that. Rubio played okay in his start. Killian Hayes played well off the bench. I'm really liking what I see out of Killian Hayes. I think he's going to be an underrated piece to this team, especially if we move Cade off the ball to a wing position. Let's go back. I want to see how Cade played in the game before as well. No? Here it is. So he should have been playing. Yep, so Rubio started here. Cade, middling performance. So maybe it was just a Knicks thing, but that's something we have to keep in mind. We have to understand that maybe LaVine and Cade on the wings is the way to go. Lance Flick is out a day, but no big deal. So let's restore our lineup. Let's get our boys back to where they belong. This is the tedious part of this game, but you know, if that's the biggest complaint that we have, this is a great engine, great game. It just continues to get better and better every iteration, so no complaints here. All right, January 9th, we're about a month away from the trade deadline. But I do want to really quickly, again, that strategy piece. Let's see. Hayes is going to the 23rd, and I believe Levine is the same. And I just want to make sure and make a note to see what's happened. 23rd. Oh, everyone's at the 23rd. All right, so let's get to the 23rd and see if those took effect. You know, I see a lot of people play this game and they don't really use those strategies, so you're almost taking your players and just saying, like, good luck with your career, you know, instead of trying to shape them and maximize their talents. I feel like it's super important, especially when you can't control the floor area that they play in. So you gotta do what you can to mold these guys to be the best that they can be. We have an injury here. Sadiq Bey goes down. Isaiah Roby is probable, which is fine. He is out 9 days. That hurts. Wow. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna let the rookie run. Let Big Flicker shine off the bench and see what happens here. Give him some burn. Wow. Okay. So he is 9 days, returns on 1/22. We want to sim to the 23rd. So let's go to the 22nd. Make sure we don't have a game, so I can see if those strategy suggestions went through for my 3 players. Oh, the damn Jazz take us down again. Bounce back win over Portland. Hopefully we can get through the rest of the sim without another nagging injury or beat down at the Suns. I bet you the Suns are probably like one of the top teams in this league. Losing to the Kings is just unacceptable. This is unacceptable. We're going to have to make some shakeups. Oof. That's brutal. Okay, no games this day. This is the 22nd. We have a couple emails. He's been playing fantastic. Good for you. He's been really good out there. Of course he has. Alright, we're going to sim one last day because we're not playing anyways. And what we will do is re-up our depth chart. Restore. And who is... Oh, Simons. Here we go. I do want to flip them. That should be pretty good right there. Now, I do want to go back in and see what if they took effect. So I wanted him to drive and pass at the extent of pull-up jumper. We see that is now down to 0%, so that one definitely went through. So let's make you into a great distributor, Killian Hayes. Zach LaVine, I wanted you to catch and shoot more at the expense of drive and pass. That does not look like it went through. So we will try that one again, which is super annoying. Landry Miller is out, well, hurting again. Catch and shoot is at 2%. Post up is at 36%. Actually didn't take note as to what his catch and shoot was before. I think that worked. But eventually, I just want to take all these down to a 0 and make them all post up. So let's go back in and we'll do another catch and shoot for him and Zach LaVine and make that worthwhile. So another month. Catch and shoot at the extent of drive and pass for LaVine. And the big man, post up at the expense of catch and shoot. Perfect. Okay, and I think my goal is just to get to February 1st. So it'll give us a week to play around with some trade possibilities and reassess what our team is looking like and go from there. Lose to the divisional foe Bucks yet again. We are now sitting at 500, 24 and 24, 48 games into the season, just a little bit over halfway. We lose to the Celtics and we lose Rubio. Great. Rubio out 11 days. Okay. So now we're going to let Killian Hayes run all of the backup point guard minutes. And while those look like long stretches of time for him to be playing, it is nice that he plays these first 8, gets that quarter break, plays the next 6. Same here. You know, he plays 8, gets the last 2. So not too bad. That's a lot of minutes for him to be playing. 28. Yeah, that is what it is, right? So since he's playing more minutes, I'm going to bump him up to be the 6th man here, which is fine. Let's take a look at the standings. I did want to get to February 1st, but I don't want to play around with the lineup any more than I have to. So we are still sitting at 3rd in the division, but man, we are falling far behind. We are now 9 games back. The Bucks and Pacers are dueling it out. How does it look in the conference? The Hawks top the Eastern Conference at 38 and 12. We'll have to take a look. Let's see. Trae Young's probably putting up stupid numbers. Not too bad. 22 points per game. That's low. What was he averaging last year? Interesting. I would expect him to be way higher, but all right. The 10 assists is insane. The Bucks are 2nd, Pacers are 3rd, so that's what we're dueling with in our own division. We're sitting at 8th still in the conference. A little cushion between us and the Wiz. The Celtics are lurking behind us. Can we catch the Nets? Can we catch the Knicks or the Sixers? We got 3 Atlantic teams right ahead of us. You know, there's a gap between us and the Knicks. There's a gap between us and the Wiz. Looks like we might be destined to be stuck here in the 8th, but maybe we swing a little deal before the trade deadline and really boost this lineup a little bit. And let's take a look at the Western Conference. As I expected, the Suns are at the top, followed by the Warriors, and then the Grizz and the Pelicans. You know, we haven't heard about Zion in real life, but I want to check out what he looks like in this sim right now. Some serious numbers. 1 block, 1.5 steals. Of course, attacker, bucket getter. I mean, yeah, you get him near the rim, he's unstoppable. What's he shooting from the field? 50% from the field, not too bad. And then just to look at his counterpart from that draft, I do want to check out what our friend Ja Morant looks like. Nearly 26 a game with 9.5 assists, 6 boards. Attacker, ball magician, bucket getter, all-around stud. A lot of green there for shooting. Wow. And he's shooting threes like that. What's he shooting from deep? 48% overall, almost 49%. And close to 38% from 3. He's a stud. He is a stud. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up there for this episode. Next time we come back, we're going to take a look and really reassess what our team looks like, what strategies we should be implementing, are there players that don't fit, who's available from teams around the league, and try to make some moves before the trade deadline. Thanks for tuning in. We'll check you next time.